Nutritious? They get a 7-star rating.
Is that out of 7 stars or is that out of 10?
It's out of 6.5.
Oh, wow. Most people don't go 6.5 stars as the total when you're starring things.
Hey, did you know we're live, Ryan?
Yeah, we are live.
Hey, I found some ribs out here, and I'm going to tell you right now, Ryan brought these back for me. If you have not, well, of course you haven't because you're not here. And it is 1:10, and the University of Texas still sucks. So we are here live at Smith & Wesson's grand opening. They got food. They got concerts. They got everything. We just had Mighty Oaks Foundation, Chad Robichaud on, and today, right now, Ryan has a special guest on. You're going to want to tune in. Ryan, take it away, sir.
Thanks, KJ. All right, we are still live. I just lost audio, maybe. I don't know. I hear nothing in my microphone. Oh, well. Well, we're still live, and we are out here at Maryville. They say Maryville here.
I've heard that.
Yeah. With Maria, USCCA, United States Concealed Carry Association / Delta Defense.
Correct.
Everybody knows USCCA, but you still use the Delta Defense name. This is just for my curiosity. What's up with that?
That's a great question. We get that a lot, actually. So Delta Defense is the service provider that does, think of it as sales and marketing for the USCCA as a membership as a whole.
Okay. All right. Cool.
A lot of people get confused. They see the USCCA logo. They know what it is, but then we wear shirts that may say Delta Defense or introduce ourselves, and they get a little confused. So
sister companies sort of thing.
The USCCA is a membership organization.
Yeah.
Where Delta Defense is the people that work to support that membership organization.
Gotcha. And now you know, and knowing's half the battle. So tell us, what are you guys up to today? I mean, you got a booth out here. What's going on?
We do. We've got a booth out here at Smith & Wesson, which has been fantastic. Great event. Lots of good stuff going on. We're just opening it up to new members that are coming in so that we can answer questions for them, invite them into the family, welcome them to the family. And there's always so many current members that are excited to see someone and just show us their card. I mentioned earlier. They come over, they bring their wallet out and show us their cards. It's so exciting.
Yeah, by the way, Michael, I can hear us now through both years. You fixed it. Michael, behind the scenes, running things, people.
He's the man.
So, we're live. So if you guys are watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please comment. There will be a prize. And if you have questions or comments for USCCA, Maria is here to answer all of them. USCCA, it's a membership organization. How do you describe it when someone says, well, okay, what's that?
Yeah, the easiest way to think of it is the USCCA supports a person as a whole. You know, a lot of people know of the USCCA from one thing or two things, but it supports a person as a whole in the fact that the USCCA wants to protect you before, during, and after a self-defense incident, not just one of the three.
Yeah, because let's be honest, a lot of people think of you guys as they call it all kinds of things.
They do.
They call it concealed carry insurance or some sort of coverage, self-defense coverage. But I know you guys have gotten big into the training side. Talk about, where the value is for someone as a member with that.
Yeah, that's another thing that a lot of people don't look at is with training. It's so important to remember that we always look at the aftermath of a self-defense incident, but if we can't win, survive, or get out, does that even matter?
Right.
It's important in the beginning to know how to avoid a situation. You can't carry a gun and an ego at the same time. You just can't. So avoidance and situational awareness is one thing that's taught. After we have that mental, though, we've got to physically be able to do it.
Yeah.
And I tell everyone that I talk to, don't let the first time be the time.
Yeah.
Don't let the first time be the time.
You can practice these things, and we're big on training with Gun Talk. We've got our range ready facility. We're running some classes and events and stuff. And it's amazing to me. And here's my stance on it. No one. This is just Ryan's talking points here. No one should be required to have training to exercise their Second Amendment rights.
Agreed.
Training should not be required for anyone to carry a gun or use a gun. However, you should want to train and get better and be proficient. It's like, you're going to just,
Are you responsible?
Yeah. Are you prepared, right?
Sure.
Because I'll be honest with you guys, a lot of people show up for these pistol classes that we put on, and they say, if you say, tell me about your experience. I've been shooting guns all my life. big gun guy, own lots of guns, and then you put them on the range, and they're not proficient as far as just shooting and hitting stuff, but also a lot of times they're not safe.
Yeah, the basics are simple fundamentals that someone has to have as not even a gun carrier, but a gun owner. You've got to know the basics. And I relate this to baseball, right? I played softball for 24 years. So to baseball, when we go out to an MLB game, we watch these guys warm up on the side, and what are they doing? The basics. Because they've mastered the basics is where they're at now. It's the same thing with firearms. You have to master the basics before you can continue to get better to where you're confident enough to protecting yourself, your child, your mom, your dad, or someone that you actually care about. One
of the things that, so Chris Serino is our kind of lead instructor of training, and one of the things he says that always, it's a great point, it always makes me chuckle a little bit, is he says, if there's a football team or just pick a professional sports team and they lose a game, what does the coach say the day after the game? We're going to get back to the basics. And his quote is, well, if the basics were so important, why did we get away from the basics?
Yes.
Like that's always what's most important,
the
right?
Basics will win the game or win the fight.
Yeah.
That's what it always comes back to, is the basics. So you've got to start somewhere. That's another really important thing for people to know is we go into a class sometimes and get nervous that we're going to be at the bottom of the list or we're not going to be as good as everyone else. But everyone starts somewhere. And there's not an age that it starts. There's not a certain time in your life other than the time that you know is right for you with your maturity, your confidence, and how serious you are about it.
Yeah. How long have you been with USCCA?
So I've been with USCCA almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in May.
Okay. You go to these events, you talk to members. Have you ever talked to members who have stories for you?
We have tons of members with stories, unfortunately.
I mean, is there one that stands out to you or maybe some like takeaways, lessons learned that are kind of shareable for people to learn some things?
Most definitely. And I'd love to give you the hour-long story, but I'm going to give you the short version of it. There was actually a member, his name was Brian, and Brian had a self-defense incident. Thank goodness he was a USCCA member. Long story short, Brian had a knock at his door. It was his ex-wife. You know, a lot of people were like, what? Why is she coming to his house? But his ex-wife knocks on the door, and she's beaten to a pulp.
Lord.
Just beaten. So she lets Brian know that she was just beaten at her home. They have an 8-year-old daughter. He says, let's go and get your stuff and get it out of there so we can remove you from this situation. So that's exactly what they do. And as they go over, Brian's outside of the house. She and the daughter are collecting their stuff, and a man pulls up in a truck. So as he pulls up in this truck, he gets out, and they start arguing. And Brian's telling him, stop, leave, go away. They get in a scuffle. Brian actually falls back on the stairs and kicks this guy to go away. He's fighting fair, let's say. The guy leaves. So it's like, whew, good day. The man returns in the truck, gets out. This time he's holding a metal pipe. He starts to come after Brian, and I don't know about you, but I would be in serious fear of death or serious bodily injury at that point.
Absolutely.
Brian slowly pulls his firearm out, fires one shot as this guy is rushing him. And he stops the threat. And long story short after that, and one thing that's important, Brian didn't stop with a carry permit class either. Brian wasn't able to do this just because it happened and he was lucky. He continued his training journey. So after that fact, the USCCA, since he was a member, was able to provide him assistance with the aftermath of that incident too. But the biggest takeaway there again is he didn't stop this because he was lucky.
Right. Yeah.
He was able to stop this because he continued his training.
That's amazing. That's a good story and lessons learned there. One of the things that we'll talk about is you have to survive the fight, and then you have another fight coming if you are in some sort of self-defense encounter. Let's just get like nuts and bolts. I don't know if this is something you can talk about, but what is the cost to someone? Just like if you have no type of help, you're not a member, what is the typical cost to defend yourself? I mean, in court, if you're in some sort of self-defense encounter and you have to use your gun.
Sure, that's a great question, too. There's actually one of the attorneys that are in the USCCA network here today out of Nashville that I talk to regularly. But if you're in a self-defense incident, lots of things are going to be a factor. What city are you in? Mm-hmm. Is it a major city? Is it a small town? That's going to affect cost in itself. Do you need bail? Do you not? That's going to affect cost. What does the attorney charge for the retainer? Mm-hmm. That's going to affect cost. And then, unfortunately, how far does this process have to go before it's potentially dropped or dismissed because it was found out that you acted in self-defense?
Right.
So there is no one roundabout cost. Each situation is unique based on where you are and how far it goes before you are able to say this was self-defense and it's proven that it was.
Right. And even if you're in the right, it can still be very expensive.
It can. And, the way the law is written is we can be in a self-defense incident and not be convicted criminally. But we can go through that civil process and still end up owing something civilly.
Right. True.
Even though we weren't convicted criminally.
Yeah. It's good information. So, where do we go from here? I mean, how do they find out more about what you guys are up to?
Great question. USCCA.com is going to be the best place to go for information. Okay. We're here today. If you're out in Maryville, Tennessee,
that's right.
Come out, stop by. We can answer questions there. And there are people all across the nation. They're in different firearm classes. They go to different groups. So if you catch someone out, stop them, ask them whatever questions you have, and they would love to answer those for you.
Awesome. Yeah. And you're saying depending on the city, depending on the state, I think a lot of people have my gunfight in their head. This guy's going to present itself an obvious threat. You're going to take care of business. The authorities are going to come in and high five you. Well, depending on which state you're in, which city you're in, what the DA is, what is he running for re-election, they may not be high-fiving you. They may be making an example of you. So you need the training first, and you need some sort of coverage, if you will, if I'm saying that right.
I'm glad you brought that up, and I won't go too far into detail about this, but there is a large city that I know of where an attorney has told me that the DA in that city has made the comment that anyone in a shots fired incident is to be charged.
Wow. There you go. Yeah, you are no longer getting a gold star. All right, Maria, thanks for being on this. But before we go, there's one more thing. If you comment, you are entered to win a very prestigious prize. So when you travel and do road trips in the South, you have to stop at Buc-ee's, right?
You have to stop at
So
Buc-ee's.
12 days of Buc-ee's socks are up for grabs for one of our viewers, and everyone who comes on is signing the Buc-ee's box.
Can I have the Buc-ee's box?
I know. Look, I saw this and went, are we going to pass by again, Buc-ee's? I'd like to. The Buc-ee's socks is kind of amazing.
Might want to let people know. It's all kind of glittery, and I almost wrote over some gold there.
Well, it's for the holiday season. If you comment, you might win. Probably this is going to end up, let's be honest, this is probably going to be framed over the mantle. It's going to be a family heirloom for years to come. So
I would wear the socks.
Yeah. It's got 6 no-show, 6 crew. It's very versatile for the whole year long. And then this is the best part. I don't know if KJ's shown this yet. It's like a 12 Days of Christmas advent calendar. Come on. How cool is that? All right, so that's it for us. USCCA, go check them out. We will be back from the Smith & Wesson grand opening at the new headquarters here in Tennessee. We'll be back with more very soon. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Gun Talk Live. For more great gun content, subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. You can always watch the Gun Talk channels on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon. And of course, you can always find us at guntalk.com. Thanks for watching.